You know, there's a quiet little myth floating around that once a woman reaches her 70s, she's supposed to slow down, settle into her rocking chair, and let life pass her by. But let me ask you this, have you ever felt a spark of excitement when you met someone new? Or maybe a flutter in your chest when an old flame reconnected with you? If so, you're not alone. The truth is, women over 70 are just as capable of craving excitement, connection, and yes, even romance, as anyone else. Age doesn't erase the desire to feel seen, cherished, or swept up in a good conversation. In fact, for many of us, these years bring a deeper appreciation for companionship. Today, we're going to explore why so many women in their golden years still seek out men, not out of loneliness, but for joy, adventure, and meaningful connection. We'll hear 5 honest confessions from women who've been there, and you might just find yourself nodding along. So, let's start with the first reason, one that might surprise you. 1. I miss the thrill of a first conversation. Margaret, a lively 72-year-old from Florida, put it perfectly, after my husband passed, I thought my days of flirting were over. But then I met a gentleman at my book club, and we ended up talking for hours. It wasn't about romance, it was about feeling alive again. That back and forth, the laughter, the way his eyes lit up when I told a joke. I'd forgotten how good that feels. And she's not alone. Many women find that engaging with men, whether as friends or something more, reignites a sense of playfulness they thought they'd lost. It's not about chasing youth, it's about savoring the present. 2. I want someone to share adventures with. Then there's Helen, 76, who never stopped traveling. My girlfriends are wonderful, she says, but none of them want to hike the Swiss Alps or take a spontaneous road trip. When I met James, he didn't just say, "That sounds nice," he said, "When do we leave?" For women like Helen, a partner isn't just company, he's a fellow adventurer. Age doesn't shrink the world unless we let it. And sometimes, having a man by your side, someone who says why not, instead of be careful, can make all the difference. Now, let's talk about something deeper. 3. I still want to feel desired. This one might make some people blush, but it's honest. Evelyn, 78, shared, after my divorce, I assumed no one would ever look at me that way again. Then, at a dance class, a man took my hand and said, "You're a remarkable woman." Not nice, remarkable. It wasn't about flattery, it was about being seen. Society often tells older women to fade into the background, but why should we? Feeling desired isn't just about romance, it's about being reminded that you're vibrant, interesting, and worthy of attention. And with that, we've covered 3 powerful reasons women over 70 still seek connection with men. But there's more to this conversation, so let's keep going. Now, let's talk about the 4th confession, one that might resonate if you've ever felt the weight of solitude. You know, there's something quietly powerful about realizing that the desire for connection doesn't fade with age. If anything, it grows richer. Because by now, we've learned what truly matters. We're not looking for fairy tales, we're looking for real, meaningful moments that make life sparkle. So, let's pick up where we left off and dive into the next honest confession, one that might feel a little vulnerable but rings true for so many women. 4. I don't want to navigate life alone. Grace, a sharp-witted 75-year-old from Texas, told me, after my husband died, I realized how much I relied on him, not just for big things, but for the small, everyday moments. Someone to laugh with at the breakfast table. Someone to say, "Did you see that?" during our favorite show. I'm independent, sure, but that doesn't mean I want to do everything solo. And that's the thing, wanting companionship isn't about weakness. It's about the simple truth that life feels brighter when shared. Whether it's splitting a dessert, reminiscing over old photos, or having someone to call when you hear a strange noise in the house at night, there's comfort in partnership. Now, this next one might surprise you. 5. I love the way men see the world differently. Betty, 79, chuckled as she shared this. My bridge club is all women, and we have a blast. But when I spend time with a man, whether it's my neighbor, Tom, or my old college sweetheart who reconnected with me, I notice how differently they think. They problem solve in a way I don't. They tell stories with a different rhythm. It's not better or worse, just refreshing. Women often spend decades in circles dominated by female friendships, which are wonderful, but there's something uniquely stimulating about a man's perspective. Maybe it's the way they debate politics without taking it personally, or how they fix a leaky faucet with calm confidence. It keeps life interesting. And here's one more, perhaps the most unexpected of all. 6. I'm not done growing, and a good man challenges me. This came from Lorraine, 80, who started painting classes with a gentleman she met at the community center. He's always pushing me to try new things, not in a pushy way, but in that come on, you've got this way. Last week, he convinced me to try watercolors, and I hated it, but I loved that I tried. A great companion doesn't just keep you company, he keeps you curious. He reminds you that life isn't over until you decide it is. And sometimes, that's the greatest gift of all. Now, we've covered 6 heartfelt reasons women over 70 still seek men for excitement and connection. But before we wrap up, there's one last layer to this conversation, something that ties it all together. Let's talk about what all this means for living a full, joyful life, no matter your age. Isn't it something? Here we are in what society calls the golden years, yet so many of us feel more alive than ever. Maybe that's the best-kept secret of aging. We finally understand what truly fills our cups, and we're unafraid to reach for it. As we wrap up these honest confessions, there's one last truth I want to share, one that ties all the others together beautifully. 7. Because I deserve joy at any age. This came from my dear friend Rose, who at 82, started ballroom dancing with a charming widower from her church. My grandchildren teased me when I mentioned going to the dance hall, she said, but you know what? I've spent my life caring for others. Now it's my turn to twirl under the lights and feel beautiful. And that's really what this is all about, isn't it? Not settling. Not fading into the background. Choosing to embrace every spark of connection, excitement, and possibility that comes our way, whether that's a deep conversation over coffee, a hand to hold at a concert, or someone who makes you laugh until your sides ache. So let's recap what we've learned from these courageous women. The thrill of connection keeps us feeling vibrant. Shared adventures make life richer. Being desired reminds us we're still magnetic. Companionship sweetens everyday moments. Men's perspectives add refreshing variety. The right partner encourages us to grow. And most importantly, joy isn't age-restricted. If there's one thing I hope you take away today, it's this: your desires matter. Your capacity for excitement doesn't expire. Whether you're happily single, casually dating, or dreaming of finding that special someone, what you want is valid. Now I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Have you experienced any of these feelings? Maybe you've got a story about finding unexpected connection later in life. Share your thoughts. Your wisdom might be exactly what another woman needs to hear today. If this resonated with you, do me a favor, hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. We create these videos to remind you that life after 70 isn't about slowing down, it's about savoring every beautiful moment. Until next time, remember, your best chapters might still be unwritten. Here's to living them boldly, joyfully, and exactly how you want to. Cheers, my dear friend.